Honorable President of India and other friends. It's a wonderful occasion to be able to honor here with the Infosys Foundation Prize the great work done on humanities by Professor Jonardon Ganeri, Professor of Philosophy at New York University. So the Infosys Prize 2015 for Humanities is awarded to Jonardon Ganeri for his outstanding scholarship and originality in interpreting and scrutinizing analytical Indian philosophy. He has thrown light, I'm not going to repeat what I said, but he has thrown light on the shared ground as well as the dichotomy between Indian and Greek traditions of philosophical reasoning, thereby illuminating both. He is actually an outstanding scholar and creative thinker. I first was told about Jonardon Ganeri by my friend Bimal Motilal, the Spalding professor at Oxford and All Souls College, which was my college then, saying that a brilliant mathematician was moving to work with him on philosophy, and he has great knowledge and skill in mathematics, which he will continue to use. He's a natural philosopher, and that we know from his work was exactly a right diagnosis. And he had great textual interest also in work done in India. There's a lot of work done in India that is not as much recognized as some others are. I mean, there's a certain amount of focus towards religious philosophy of India, but analytical traditions, which are very strong and compares well with the Greeks and the Chinese, have been neglected, and Bimal Motilal was one of the ones to regenerate these studies. Now, Jonardon Ganeri has done absolutely brilliantly in pursuing the Indian tradition of analytical philosophy, including discussing the kind of regeneration of logical and philosophical interest, not only in ancient times, but even as late as 17th century. I mean, late, but this was the British Empire, when there was a resurgence of interest on analytical and logical issues, which he has studied with great interest. Now, he has worked on such a wide range of problems that there is no hope of mine to be able to cover it in a few minutes. But I should mention that some of the very foundational problems of economics, or of philosophy, semantics, artha or meaning, ideas of the self, the way to think about identity, and sometimes even bigger issues connected with what we may, in a kind of general way, describe as a human soul, not necessarily having all the forbidding aspects of thinking about soul, which it sometimes brings out. Jonardon has worked in a truly amazing range of issues and produced contributions of great value. And as I think the recognition, the description mentioned, in the context of comparing Indian with Greek traditions of philosophy, including logic, Jonardon Ganeri has been able to illuminate the foundational aspects of both Indian analytical thought and Greek analytical thought. So this is work of the highest order, and I think we have every reason to congratulate Jonardon Ganeri for the great work he has done, and now we can also congratulate him for getting the Infosys Prize, which adds to his accomplishment. So congratulations and warm good wishes from everyone interested in humanities in India and everywhere else. Thank you.
And here is Professor Ganeri talking about what philosophy means to him. Can we have the video, please?
Philosophy begins with a sense of awe and wonder and curiosity about the world and about our place within it. It's an attempt to seek understanding by moving from perplexity to clarity. Philosopher's role is to educate you how to preserve the sense of wonder and the desire to question. If you don't lose that sense of wonder, then you end up becoming a philosopher.
Please join me in welcoming on stage Professor Jonardon Ganeri. And I request Mr. Narayanamurthy, the anchor trustee for this category, to join the presentation, and Professor Amartya Sen to join the presentation, please. Professor, would you like to share a few words?
It's with great honor, pleasure, and gratitude that I'm here today to accept the Infosys Science Foundation Humanities Prize for 2015, a prize that since its foundation has been peerless in putting research in both the sciences and the humanities at the center of intellectual life in India. And I also want to pay tribute to the Murthy Classical Library of India, which is a tremendous initiative brilliantly run by Rohan Murthy and Sheldon Pollock. Now, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the encouragement over many years of teachers, colleagues, students, and family. It was unbelievably fortunate for me as a doctoral student to be taken under the wing of Padma Bhushan Professor Bimal Matilal, as Professor Sen just mentioned, and indeed by his whole family. He envisaged for India a greatness that simultaneously embodies both the compassionate concern of the Buddha and the formidable logical rigor of Dignaga, Sriharsha, and Raghunatha Shiromani. And as I sat by his bedside and read with him Shantarakshita and Gadadhara, an entire world of Indian genius merged in my mind with the sound of his faltering voice. He located himself simply in a parampara, yet in reality he was engaged in a profound act of transformation, transforming the tradition of scholarly inheritance into a modern vehicle of intellectual exchange. And so I'm very privileged that his wife Korobi has been able to travel from Kolkata to come here tonight. Bimal Matilal drew great strength from the friendship and intellectual camaraderie of Sir Richard and Lady Kate Sarabji, who I'm honoured to say are also here. And I've known Richard since the time I began my career in philosophy, and he's been a mentor and an unwavering support on every leg of the journey that has brought me here. My colleagues in India, who have been more like family to me, have done the most to keep my love for philosophy alive when sometimes it's felt like a struggle. And I just wanted to mention the incomparable Madhuchandra Manideepa Sen, whose father Pranab Sen was, along with Daya Krishna, one of the greats of the philosophical scene here, and Fransam Manjali, Hiraman Tiwari, and Nimalya Chakrabarti, and also Prabal Sen, a truly inspirational teacher of the Sanskrit philosophical tradition. Well, this is the first time the Infosys Prize in the Humanities has gone to philosophy, and so I thought I should just say a couple of words about philosophy as a modern discipline of active research. There have been great changes in the field of philosophy over the last 40 or 50 years, thanks in part to increasingly strong ties with the empirical and logical sciences. Philosophers now have at their disposal a powerful set of conceptual tools with which to study all that it is to be human and the place of human beings in the world. Ironically, in achieving these great advances, contemporary philosophy is just catching up with the rigorous, logical, and scientifically grounded traditions of philosophical inquiry that have flourished in India for 2 millennia. And the insights and discoveries of our forebears are now starting to feed into modern research programs in the field. So I see philosophy beginning to emerge as a truly global area of research endeavour. And that's hardly surprising, because ideas don't carry passports, and theories about what make us human don't respect national borders. So philosophy is becoming pluralist and cosmopolitan, and India, which already has some very fine institutions for philosophical research, including the IIAS in Shimla, the IIT departments, and established as well as newly formed centres. And also thanks to the astonishingly rich theoretical resources of its deep intellectual history, must inevitably be at the vanguard of this new emergence. So I hope that this Infosys Prize will shine a fresh spotlight on all the world-class philosophical research that's going on in our country. And I'll just conclude by thanking my own family, my late father, my brother and sister, Rabindra and Anita, and my partner, Marsha, for all their love and support. Thank you very much.